anyone owes taxes at all? Oh, because taxation is theft. The initiation of force is wrong. And that's your starting point. And as long as you're starting from there, you'll be able to frame questions to bring that out. You don't acquire property just by taking it from somebody. We don't accept that. That's not, you don't have to get into rights and things like this. But most people understand from the time they're 4 or 5 years old, it's wrong to just take something from somebody. It's not really yours. It's still theirs. So that's the basis of that. That's the way. So what I would do is I would start calling them and pressuring them, to come on the show, discuss this. Let's discuss this. Hell, if you can, attend one of the meetings, see if there could be some kind of hearing on it. And you're challenging the factual basis of what they're doing.
So to kind of wrap here, what do you see now in the next few years? I mean, there's so much awareness. In a way, it seems like it's a good thing that people are actually, talking about the Fed and, whether or not it's the right approach to audit or end it or whatever, or let the... Do you see some kind of movement here, just societal, that's maybe some good things are going to be coming out in the next few years, Mark Stevens? I mean, some more awareness of all this stuff?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more awareness. Every month we've got more people listening. You've got a friend of mine, Stefan Molyneux, who's a voluntarist who is now his second appearance on a nationally syndicated show. I've been on Coast to Coast, one so far. So we're getting the word out there, and I think we're getting, as more people see the nonviolent non-cooperation, they're getting emboldened, they're getting empowered, I should say, to start participating and living free now and acting on their principles and trying to be more consistent with their core beliefs.
So I like that. So nonviolent non-cooperation.
Yeah, and one of the things I suggest people do, and a number of people have done this already, is to help broadcast the show in their area, and they set up a so-called pirate radio station, and we have resources available to help people with that, where they can broadcast the show in their area and not ask permission. I just, there's something repugnant about getting on the air and discussing the immoral basis of government, that it should be abolished, and then going and asking the FCC for permission to do so.
Yeah, well, they do. They have this one in Austin that keeps moving around, They find them, and then they just change their frequency. It's funny.
Yeah, I've been carried on a number of them out there, and I think it's great, and I know a number of them were shut down, but they keep plugging. But what I'm getting is there's not much risk involved with going to jail, so people are a little more willing to go and set up a small FM or AM broadcast so we can get more of the word out. So I think we're getting more, we're really making headway into, getting to larger and larger audiences, and that's really helping. We had Libertopia for the first time in Los Angeles in October. This October it's going to be in San Diego. It should be great. It's where you've got hundreds of people who all want to see government abolished. To me, that's a great sign. It's to have people be able to get together like that all believe that. They're not minarchists where they just want limited government. They understand that it can't be reformed. You can't limit government because by its nature, it doesn't play by rules.
Do you think that with the idea of nonviolent non-cooperation, that eventually maybe the government would just implode upon itself without a shot being fired, without anything? Well,
what I envision is that as people continue, we add more to the ranks of people not participating in various parts of the system, that less and less money or energy is being transferred to them, so of necessity they're going to have to start cutting. Let's say an example, there are certain aspects of the health department where they can't keep going after turkey farmers and people selling raw milk. So
right.
they
just let it go.
They let it go. Like, we can't enforce this anymore. So that's what I see happening. So I believe that before it completely collapses, that all you're going to have left is a vestige. It'll be basically what the people at Thomas Jefferson tried to do, that you'll have a skeleton of what you have now. You'll basically have government which consists mainly of not even a legislature, because they'll realize it's ridiculous to have legislation. It's ridiculous. Where you'll just basically have a court system and police and a military. That'll basically be it, and then you'll have that's what will be left before it finally collapses. They just keep whittling away because people aren't complying. And if all political power is inherent in the people anyway, who says the only thing that you can do to bring about change is to vote? Politically.
You can just not participate.
Just don't participate. Look, I'm not going to support this. It's supposed to be the will of the people. Well, if enough people are saying, if you get 51% of the people not participate, this is why I caught so much. A friend of mine on my show, Stefan Molyneux, who, we caught such heat about the whole Ron Paul thing because we were pointing out, my big thing was anyway, that if Ron Paul really had the support that he had to get rid of the income tax and the Federal Reserve, you wouldn't need Ron Paul. The people would just stop participating.
Just stop participating. They would just stop. Yeah.
What are they going to do if you've got 8 million people or 10 million people that support Ron Paul, and they stop using Federal Reserve notes and they start using silver, and they start their own, a number of other systems that they bring to the table, and they stop using Federal Reserve notes? What are you going to do? And they're not paying taxes. You can't prosecute 8 million people.
Well, as you know, most folks are just so addicted to their ATM card and all this stuff, and it's too much. It's just too much of a leap for most folks to do that.
Well, a friend of mine, Jim Davies, who writes on Strike the Root, also StrikeTheRoot.com, he wrote a really good article a few months ago that you don't throw the bath out with the baby, or throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
You don't have to, in a voluntary society that we're looking to get, you don't have to throw away the ATM system. You just have to get rid of the credit system. You can still use ATMs to transfer whatever monetary or medium of exchange the markets are allowing. So, that part of the system is really good. It's the credit system that is so bad.
You mean the monetization of our signatures?
I don't even like to use monetization. I think because it implies it's money. But you're having credit. You're having pieces of paper. You're having credit circulate as money, but it's not money. Yeah. It's just like the Federal Reserve note. A note explicitly and legally is not money. It's a receipt for money, and it's not even that. A Federal Reserve note's not a receipt for anything. You don't have to. The important thing is we don't have to give up the good parts of the system to get rid of the bad. We just get rid of the credit part. And yes, the putting your signature on, which I know we're almost out of time.
No, we got time. Go ahead.
The putting your signature on, of course, I've helped a number of people in the last few months have credit card complaints thrown out against them because we're showing, of course, through the mechanics of the alleged loan that their signature is creating the credit.
Sure.
Not creating money, but it's creating the credit.
Creating the credit. Yeah, so the credit card companies, essentially, they're not out anything if one doesn't pay them anymore because they created the credit when they signed the credit card thing.
Well, they used your signature, created the credit, and then gave it back to you and charged you interest.
Yeah, same way with a home loan, right?
Well, yeah, it's the same thing. Now, people may say, well, you can use anything as money or a medium of exchange. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I agree. But try to do the same thing as what the bank does or a credit card company does and see what happens to you.
I don't take kindly to it. Yeah. So where do you think this whole foreclosure thing, Mark Stevens, is going? I mean, has the Pandora's box been opened here a bit?
I think it has, and I think that's probably why so many of these state attorney generals, so-called, are rushing in to stop things, saying that the banks have done something wrong and they're trying to stop the
because
foreclosure process.
They're going to settle, right?
Well, yeah. I think they want to, and this is pure speculation. I can't prove any of it, but I think circumstantially, it's fairly strong because enough people have figured out what's going on and they're challenging. They're just not paying anymore, and they know how to challenge it. And some of these places where it's a non-judicial foreclosure state, they're being successful. Mm-hmm. So it could be, and again, speculation, that they don't that the attorney generals are rushing in and stopping foreclosures against with Bank of America, for example, here in Arizona. It could be because they don't want it to come out in court.
What's really going on?
Yeah, it's like, hey, we figured out the mechanics of the loan. It's only credit.
Right. Boy, if that ever got out, I mean, if what you know, and I kind of understand, but and my friend Andrew Goss, who talks about it, really ever got out there into the mainstream that we just create this credit with our signature. Boy, you talk about some fun in the world of banking. Wow.
Well, I think people would finally throw, the credit system out the door and realize, because there's a moral issue, very strong moral issue there that that of using that system. It's actually interesting because I'm getting a call right now from a bank. From a bank? I'm getting a call from Bank of America. That's hilarious. I wish I was on video.
I can hear it beeping in. So a moral issue meaning that the whole idea of using our signature to create credit is just immoral.
I don't know if it's necessarily. What you're doing is they're using that to get to get property, get real goods and services with that.
With your signature.
With credit.
With credit.
And calling it money. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's only in place, the market only allows it to go on because of the government, which of course is supported by taxation, which is compulsory. So the only reason the Federal Reserve System can do what they're doing is because it's people are forced through legal tender laws to accept it and pay taxes with it. So that's where that's the real moral issue. And then I think you have a secondary moral issue when you're talking about using credit to get goods and services.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are in for some interesting times ahead, aren't we, Mark Stevens? I think it's kind of fun.
I want to see more people participating in agorism, basically nonviolent non-cooperation and creating wealth without permission. Creating wealth without permission,
yeah. And we do that by being creative, right?
Well, yeah, you have farmers markets and don't charge sales tax. Don't get permission. You sell the raw milk and just do it with your customers. I mean, I think it's ridiculous to say that you have to have a share in the cow, that you own a piece of the cow so that you can have the milk. I know those are silly legal loopholes that people use, but they want to be able to provide their customers with the product they want. But I think you can do that without jumping through these loopholes. Mm-hmm. Just build these markets, the farmers markets, encourage the use of community currency with these farmers markets and other products and things people can bring so that you're not using Federal Reserve notes.
Have you heard of this digital currency called Bitcoin?
Yes.
I think there might be something to this. Pretty interesting. They're only going to do a limited number. Ever.
Well, yeah, it is very encouraging. We talk about that stuff on the show all the time.
Yeah. So we've talked about it, too. We're going to have people be able to donate 10 cents to us and 20 Bitcoins. Why not? I mean, you might as well get involved here. All right, your book, sir, is Adventures in Legal Land, available at MarcStevens.net. And then your new book is called what, and when's that coming out?
It's going to be called Government Indicted, and it's basically a factual basis on why government should be abolished, why it's criminal, from the psychological, economic, and legal aspects.
And when is that coming out?
It'll be out mid-year, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. And now your radio show, folks can go to MarcStevens.net and listen to that 3 to 5 Central, correct?
Yeah.
You stream it right there on MarcStevens.net.
Right, and you can go on my forum, and we have a list of affiliates there also.
Oh, folks want to listen to it over there. Well, Mark, it's been a pleasure having you on. It's been great fun. Thanks. I'm really glad we found you, and like to keep in touch and let us know how we can help in any way, sir. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Patrick, for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. Mark Stevens, MarcStevens.net. Well, the basic premise is such a great spiritual concept that all human action should be